Hey guys, thanks for joining us today for our midweek chat. My name is Jess and I'm here with Renee today. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
For those of you who don't know Renee, she is our missions director. So when we were looking at this week's schedule, knowing that we were talking about the subject of serving, it was a no-brainer for us to have Renee at the table today because you not only lead serving initiatives across the globe, but right here in our own community and our church. I mean, probably if you've been in our church at any point where there's been food served, Renee has served you. Like, she is the ultimate servant's heart. So we're really excited that you're here today, Renee. I'm glad that you took the time to be here. So thank you.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm really excited about this topic. So
yeah. So let's dive right in. While we talk, we would love to hear from you guys in the comments as well. Share your thoughts, share your questions. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. So whether you were here Sunday or watched online or missed Sunday's sermon, Pastor Nikki delivered an incredible message on the topic of serving. So we're going to dive in a little bit deeper to that today. So she came out swinging, as Nikki always does.
As always.
Which we love her for. Thank you, Pastor Nikki. But she just said, can we keep it real this morning? She said, it's easy to serve when it's something we want to do or when it fits into our schedule or when it's for people that we love or like. But what happens when all of the easies are gone? And that was convicting for me. You know, like what's the lens that we're looking through to determine when we're serving and who we're serving? Yeah. It's huge.
It is huge. And I think when you think about serving our own people, you know, the people we do life with, it becomes about us. It's not about serving others and looking outside that lens. You know, when Jesus served, he didn't serve just the people that surrounded him. He looked out, you know, across and he would actually depart from his people to go serve people, you know, and so sometimes it's very uncomfortable. It's messy. It's just, but that's what true serving is looking for the needs out there, not just what is comfortable for us.
Yeah. And that actually goes perfectly into Nikki's first main point. Her main point was the fuel of serving reminds us that everyone is our neighbor.
Absolutely.
You know, when you think about neighbors, like for me, I think of some of the great neighbors that I have, you know, who have helped me out or, you know, are great at keeping their lawn meticulous, whatever. You know who I'm talking about. You know your good neighbors versus the not so great neighbors.
The people you can borrow a cup of sugar from and the people you can't,
right? Yeah. You know, you think of those neighbors when it's like, oh yeah, I'd love to help her in return or whatever. But that's not what Jesus is talking about. He's talking about the person that is on the opposite side of the aisle, really, in this scenario, in this time that we're in. And Nikki even used that example, you know, of like if you saw, you know, say you're a Democrat, if you saw Donald Trump on the side of the road, would you run over to help him in Jesus' name, or would you say, haha, you know, like, and same for both sides. She kind of called both out because it's just such a high tension point right now, obviously. And so everyone's our neighbor.
And they need to be, you know, I mean, we need to look at it through that lens because we shouldn't be pick and choosing. If that, we're placing judgment and we're not there to judge. I mean, we're there to really, if you have a true servant's heart, you're just going to keep your eyes open and look for those opportunities of where people just are really in need. It might be the cranky guy next door, you know, and you don't connect with them, but you know what? We don't know their stories and we don't know their needs if we don't know their stories. So I think we need to just really be open to seeing, you know, and not placing judgment on people. Just, I think we need to walk across the lawn, go meet somebody or down the street, whatever, and help. Yeah.
And her second main point was the fuel of serving means we are willing to sacrifice our own needs for the needs of others. The word sacrifice is like, I think as Americans, we don't like that word.
No,
like, I mean, I live a very comfortable life, you know, especially when you have had the opportunity to travel and see, you know, some of the situations around the world. But the sacrifice word hit me hard. Like, is it just at my own convenience or my own time frame, or am I checking a box off that says, okay, I shipped my Operation Christmas Child box, I served? That's not a lifestyle of serving.
Right. And, you know, and then because, again, we make it about us. You know, like, oh, well, you're picking and choosing what you're sacrificing. There might be a bigger need or a bigger opportunity out there that you are bypassing because it's not comfortable for you, or I don't want to give that much, you know, and just, you got to listen, if God prompts you and says, but this is the need I want you to have, you have to realize then it's about listening to his voice and his prompting, not what's easy for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Nikki, again, she laid it all out there. I liked one of her examples when she said, some of us, I think time is one of the biggest factors. And she went through this list of, I don't have time to shop and fill a shoebox. I don't have time to serve at the church. I'm lucky if I can fit church into my schedule, even attending. And it's like, oh, like that is
that's
where
real,
we are
that's
sometimes
real.
right now.
Yeah,
we've heard that, right?
Yep.
And yeah, I don't know, like, what experiences have you run into, like, when you're trying to recruit for a trip or serving opportunities? What walls are there that you wish could be broken through a little bit?
Number one wall is what's the destination? I get a lot of people saying, well, where are you going this year? And I'll tell them, oh, I don't want to go there. It gives me a little bit of angst, and then I have to put myself in their shoes and let's walk them through this. It's not about the destination. It's what's the need. So my scope is always like, what is the greatest need? Where does God need us? And we do have some great partnerships, and we continue to go back to those partnerships, but it's always with the focus of there is a need there. There has to be an out phase when you've met the need and they should be doing things on their own, but that is the biggest obstacle, because we make it about us again, not about the greatest need. And I always tell my people, like, I want you to go with expectations, but don't let them shape the scope of the trip. Because when you really let God use you and serve you in a really big way, he is going to do amazing things, but if we go with just one way of, this is the only reason I'm going, you're going to close so many doors and miss so many blessings and opportunities.
I love that you said that, because that's the heart of this sermon and this series really is, we're not living and operating in our own strength.
Correct.
We are operating in the strength of Jesus and his Holy Spirit. And so our serving should be reflective of that.
Yes.
It's not just the locations that are appealing or the neighbors that we like a little bit more. That's so valuable. And her third main point was the fuel of serving produces generosity.
Absolutely.
Which I've seen that in my own life. Have you seen that on the mission field? Do hearts change a little bit?
Absolutely. I ask the first day of any mission trip, that night we'll do a devotion. I'll ask them, why are you here? And you always get like, oh, I want to see my compassion child, or I want to, build this, or I want to do this. And, I always tell them, come with expectations, but don't let them shape your trip, and don't let them disappoint you. And just be willing and be flexible. That's number one. Be willing to change, at the drop of a hat. If they're asking us to do this and the shift changes, just say, I'm in, and that's the biggest thing, because people have found that they have skills, they have gifts they don't even know they have. You give them a little nudge and you just go with a willing heart, God's going to open these amazing doors. So the last night of my trip, I always say, now tell me why you guys were here. And it's always different. Like, I thought I was coming for this, and this is what happened here. And it's amazing how God will change their perspective. If you say, I'm here, what do you want me to do? And then the last thing is always like, but I thought I was coming for this. I feel not worthy because I feel like I was blessed more than I blessed others. That's the beauty of God. You come open and willing, and you just say, I am here, what do you want me to do? And God is going to bless you far beyond what you think that you're giving to others.
It produces
it's
a
generosity
generous
on his
lifestyle.
part. Yes.
Yeah.
It's
and
amazing.
I think we can take that and apply that. It doesn't have to be on a missions trip where that transformation happens. But when we yield our agendas and our time to Christ, we're the ones that end up being blessed.
We are,
because we get to step into the work that he is doing. In his kingdom coming to earth. And that's a pretty cool way of looking at serving.
So don't wait for a global mission trip. Your mission field is here. It's in our own backyard. It's in our own community. So you don't have to wait to go across the world to do that. Just be open to doing it. Absolutely.
Which is perfect. I love that you said that, because I would love to take some time to hear from you about our Supernatural Love Initiative this year. For those of you who are newer to the Woods Church, for the past 2 years, we have taken November and December to really focus on a phrase called supernatural love, which means we are not just loving others through our own strength, but through the supernatural strength of Jesus. And so we have a lot of cool cool initiatives that are happening this year. And historically, we would provide you guys with some ideas of things that you can do on your own just to love those around you, just like we've been talking about. How do we serve on a day-to-day basis, especially during the Christmas season? And we're doing that this year, but we're stepping it up a level, right?
Yeah,
Can you tell us a little bit about that, of how this year looks a little bit different?
You know, one of the things that we talked about is this pandemic has thrown everybody. You know,
Absolutely.
Everybody's lives have shifted, they've changed, made us uncomfortable, you know, and a lot of people have been impacted in a very different way. You know, some have lost loved ones and they've lost jobs, or, you know, single parents now trying to teach their children and work at home. It's just, there's so many different aspects of what it looks like. And I think this year for Supernatural Love is we wanted to really love people where they've been impacted the most, and what does that look like? So some of the things that we're going to be doing is, you know, we love our essential workers. I mean, we've all, you know, we have all, some of us have worked, some people haven't. They didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
You know, essential workers, there are police and our fire and our hospital workers. They could be the custodians in the hospital keeping it clean. It could be down at our Kroger stocking our shelves. These are the people that kept things going for us as everything was spinning out of control, but they had their own lives. So how do we thank them, you know, and how do we bless them? So they're one of our focuses, you know, and is just thanking and celebrating them. But then we also know that there are some very extreme needs. There's people that have lost their jobs and people that have lost loved ones that are grieving to a point where they didn't get to say goodbye and process that grief. You know, there's children that have been ripped out of school and they don't get, you know, they didn't get to go and say goodbye, you know, to their friends or have any interaction. It's just, everybody's circumstances have been hit, you know, really differently, you know. And then we have our global partners. You know, we talk about these clean water initiatives, and we always say, you know, the biggest thing is to wash your hands, sanitize. What about a third world country that don't have sanitizer?
Oh my gosh,
or the water they wash their hands with is contaminated by parasites. You know, so their things look different. So we were trying to take a lens of, let's thank the people that have gotten us through. Let's love on the people in our community that are affected, but let's still keep the mindset of our global partners and them that live in extreme poverty. How do we kind of love on them at the same time?
Yeah, that's so exciting. And you guys will be hearing more Sunday, but just to share a little bit more about Supernatural Love, I'm just so excited.
I am too.
So traditionally, we would provide you with ideas of things you can do on your own. Well, this year as a church, we're doing that, but we are also going to rally around our community in a bigger way together. And you've been instrumental in organizing a lot of this, but what we've done is we have found 10 essential workers and people who have been hit really hard in our very community, who we would love just to bless in a big, surprising way. And so our team has already been moving forward on that, but as a church, we'll have the opportunity to collect funds together and rally together to donate to that and really make a big impact in our community. And I'm really excited for that.
I am. It's just going to be amazing.
So you'll be provided with some resources, not just this Sunday, but you'll be hearing a lot more about Supernatural Love, on how to thank essential workers this season, how to offer encouragement to those around you. Like Renee said, you know, you likely know someone who has lost someone during this season, or a parent who has been parenting and homeschooling for months and months. What are some creative ways to encourage those people? We have those ideas for you. And also support financially, you know, as you mentioned, our global partners, but also so many local opportunities. The needs that have always existed are now just amplified because of
and they
COVID.
look different. Some of them are the same, but some of them look very different.
Yeah, so we're really excited to share more with you about Supernatural Love. I hope you guys are excited too. We can't wait to equip you with some resources. Renee, we could talk forever about serving.
Well, it's my heartbeat. You know what I mean? So we could just talk about lots of stuff. But.
Yeah, I want to encourage you guys, if you have not personally met Renee, she is a great person to help you get connected in serving our world, our community, and even in our church. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys for joining us for the midweek chat. We hope you guys have a great week, and don't forget to join us this coming Sunday as we continue our Ablaze series and hear a little bit more about Supernatural Love and how you can be a part of it. Thanks guys, we'll see you soon.